there doesn't appear to be any panel damage that we can spot from here. Anyway, doesn't seem to be affecting lap times, and Grice is giving it a good boot full at the moment.
He's saving on tyre wear through that corner. The race settles down. Johnson and Grice continue their scrap for 4th and 5th. Back behind them, Larry Perkins in 6th place. And of course then Andrew Madecki. Let's recap the placings for you. Seaton is the race leader. Fury is 2nd. Gentleman John is 3rd. 4th, Dick Johnson. 5th, Alan Grice. And rounding out the 6th, Larry.
The championship decider, the Shell Ultra Touring Car title, being decided here at Oran Park in Sydney this afternoon. 16 laps gone out of 50 for the title, and the leader on screen, car number 15, the Turbo Nissan, is Glenn Seaton, the series leader going into today's race by 3 points over BMW's Jim Richards. The gap between the two on the track is 5.35 seconds. There's Fred Gibson, team manager, smiling already.
Well, the smiles certainly have been breaking out in the Peter Jackson Nissan team, but we'd like you to remember that Jim Richards, who only 3 or 4 laps ago was 6 and a little bit seconds clear, behind George Fury and of course Glenn Seaton, has just pulled that back to about 5.6 seconds. So Jimmy Richards is certainly gaining, slowly but gaining, and there's a lot of laps left in this afternoon's grand final.
Seaton has gone out to a 1 minute 16.02 lap, but that reducing gap between Seaton and Jimmy Richards may have been created by some lap traffic.
George Fury still sitting in there, flying rear gunner for Seaton.
Well, there's the visual gap.
It is closer, isn't it?
It is definitely closer.
Dick Johnson, and in behind Dick Johnson in 4th spot we've got Grice and Perkins having a little ding-dong of their own.
So that continues nicely. If Jimmy Richards can come from behind past Glenn Seaton and win this afternoon, he will take the title. At the moment though, the Nissan team have things fairly well covered, because I would imagine that George Fury will give Jim Richards a heck of a race. Dick Johnson, car number 17, heading up to the dogleg. Johnson, of course, 42 years of age, comes from Brisbane. 1st in the 81, 82 and 84 touring car titles, 2nd in 85, 6th in 86, winner of the Hardy back in 1981. Stats courtesy Nissan know-how. Queensland's top banana still continues. Problems with turbos throughout the season, but of course has come up with a round win at Adelaide International Raceway. Right behind him is Gricey and Larry Perkins. I tell you, there's not a Commodore that's not arriving at the end of the front straight with smoke just absolutely screaming off the front tyres.
Gricey, Australia's newest M3 driver, announced recently that he'll be running at Spa with the Schnitzer factory team, driving the 3rd car with Roland Ratzenberger and Marcus Ostreich.
I saw a long time Commodore. Oh, look at the smoke from that car of Grice's now. The left rear. Definitely something rubbing there. Every time the body drops on the suspension over that rougher part of the course at the back, the smoke flies there. I saw a long-time Commodore peddler Graham Moore a little earlier here today at the track. Goodness me, how does he stay upright?
He loves it, just loves it.
And Graham, of course, we haven't seen him on the track too much in the last 12 months, but he's off to Spa as well. He's got a drive in a French Commodore. Australian Commodore now being developed and raced in France with Michel Delcourt.
Be a strong Commodore presence there. Grice has elected to go with one of the best factory rides, completing a tremendous season that he's certainly enjoying and showing his versatility, driving not only the touring cars, but of course he's been over to NASCAR land and be back doing more of that later in the season, and already has plans to run the Commodore, which he believes will be just as competitive as last year, by the time that the James Hardy World Touring Car Championship rolls around on October 4. Alan Grice with that ominous blue telltale smoke coming from the rear of the car. and he's carrying our race cam. Might see if we can catch a talk with Gracie during the course of this afternoon's event, now that he has a little of the pressure off him. Yes, and we take pictures from Alan Grace and say good afternoon to you, Alan.
Hey, Mike.
Well, hell of a race so far. You noticed some smoke pouring out the back of your car.
Can't hear you very well, mate. I've got a lot of engine noise coming through my earplugs today, but you can see I've got my customary problem. If you have a look at my water temperature gauge, I'm running between about 118 to 110. Dick's tyres are going away, and I just don't know what to do with him, because I'm trying to keep out of his airstream as much as possible. You can see his tyres are going, because I don't want to overheat my engine too much. It's touch and go as it is.
I can see that. Well, while you're doing that, Peter Brock is already into the pits. That's the first of the Commodores, obviously, and saw the red light flashing there as well. I wouldn't have expected Johnson's tyres to have gone off so early in this race.
Still can't make out very much, mate.
Alrighty, we'll let you get back to the job of...
I'm quite happy to talk to you, I can't hear you.
So succinctly put. Actually, that corner is getting wider and wider each lap.
Yeah, his tyres are going. Mine is still pretty good, but I've got to get out here in the clear air. It's the only way I'm going to keep my engine alive.
I'll let you get back and we'll come back to you later. Alan Grice, of course, carrying race cam. Seeing that we had some problems understanding each other, it didn't seem timely to go into great detail about the smoke that's pouring also out the back of his car. But he's making life difficult for Dick Johnson, coming down to the right-hander.
Yeah, he needs, because of that overheating problem too, needs to get by or pull out if he can and get some airflow through.
Peter Brock has been to the pits, is back out on the racetrack, in fact just ahead of Dick Johnson. So Johnson will be coming up to put a lap on Peter Brock after his pit stop. Positions unchanged at the front. Grice and Johnson continue their tremendous scrap.